Hello, hello. This is Donna Marie Johnson coming to you from the Atlanta, Georgia area. You might be hearing a little bit more background noise than what you usually hear when I'm in my home office studio. And I'm coming to you from Clayton State University today. Beautiful campus, great university center here where you can have your lunch and plug in your devices and use their network and do what you got to do. So anyway, I'm here today and I am going to go ahead and proceed with our Market Like a Queen video podcast, even though there's background noise. So let's start out with just encouraging you to make sure that you remember to pray, prepare, and plan. And this is really important for us to talk about today because we're talking about book marketing. And a lot of people don't understand there is a process to everything, including book marketing. Doesn't matter how great your ideas are. There's still a process, and you have to be patient with that process. You have to pray, and you have to prepare and plan too. You have to do all of those things. You can't skip anything. So I shared that in a brief video earlier, but I wanted to share it again because I wanted to really encourage you to remember to go through your process. Don't reject that process. Now, these Tuesday Twitter chats start at 12 p.m. noon every Tuesday Eastern Standard Time. Please share the videos and share the posts on Twitter so that you can let folks know about it. And again, welcome to today's Tuesday Twitter chat for Startup Strong. Oh, and if you've missed the past videos that we've made about the Twitter chats, we want to make sure you know where to go. You can either go to YouTube and just search for Market Like a Queen, or go on over to marketlikeaqueen.com/video. All right, so let's get going here with today's question and answer session. So again, we're talking about book marketing, and we're specifically going to address the topic of, right now, the topic of how do you know what to write about? Now, the reason I'm letting this question start us out is because I want you to think about, as you're starting to plan your book project, I want you to think about the best questions to ask, because those questions will help you plan better. So just sit down, think things through, whatever comes to mind. Just write it down. Any questions you have, any ideas you have. It doesn't even have to be anything specifically that's going to be content in that book. I'm just saying to write down your questions about the process of start to finish. Anything from the beginning part of your book writing process to the end of selling your book successfully. Just think of questions and write things down. That way, when you talk to somebody like me who can give you strategic advice, then you'll already know what you've already thought of. But if you don't write it down, you're going to forget those questions. So get out a journal, create yourself a dedicated journal just about your book project, and save that thing in a safe place where you're not going to lose it. Keep it in your glove compartment, keep it in your book, in your pocketbook, in your purse, 24/7, in your backpack, whatever it is that where you know that you're going to go look at that over and over. Keep yourself a good book project journal in there so that you can write down your questions and be able to get answers to those questions when you do talk to a pro like me or anybody else in your circle who you trust, to give you advice. Now, my answer to the question of how do you know what to write about is, first of all, ask your audience. And in previous videos, if you've watched the other videos from the Startup Strong series, you'll see that we talked in detail about how you can listen better. And a lot of times people don't think of it. We kind of skip over the part of asking for what our audience wants. What do they want to hear? What do they want to learn? What kind of stories do they want to hear about? It's important to ask. You don't want to assume that you know them, that you know their needs, because that's the quickest way to fail in marketing your book. The other thing that you need to do, and that's going to pop up here in a second, I'm going to pull up that information so we don't have to wait. So in terms of listening to your audience, one of the most important ways to do that, either yourself or to hire somebody or have somebody on your existing team to do this is to look at the social and web marketing analytics. A lot of times people are skipping that because, well, they don't know how to do it. They don't feel like doing it. They don't want to spend the money to invest in somebody that can help them with looking at those numbers. But the numbers are so important. Just as much as numbers are important when you're dealing with money, numbers are important with your marketing too, especially for a book marketing project where you're trying to even just get into the beginning stages of figuring out what your audience wants. You need to know what types of information they're searching for online. You need to know what types of information that they are actively looking at and engaging with. And you won't know what they're looking at. You won't know what questions they're asking if you don't on purpose look for that information. They're not just going to contact you by email and say, hey, I want this, this, that, and the other. That's your responsibility to look for that information in terms of data, and also, of course, asking questions. And in the segment that we did, the video that we did about listening better to your audience, we talked about ways you can listen. Surveys are a huge, important way to listen to your audience. And there's so many great survey tools out there. SurveyMonkey is one of those free tools that you can start out free with, and you can stay free with them too, but you can also upgrade and get extra features that help make your surveys more professional and more accurate, more scientifically sound, all of that. And most people don't have that type of expertise, so there are people that you can actually hire to do those types of surveys for you. It's marketing research, and that's your responsibility. Remember what I said earlier about praying, preparing, and planning. You don't just want to pray and be all spiritual about things. There are practical things you have to do too, and this is one of those. So if you've listened to any of these videos in the past, you'll see that I always talk about the topic of dealing with your own mind issues. And this isn't necessarily just mental. Sometimes it's emotional, sometimes it's spiritual, but there are things that can hold you back from attaining your book project goals. And one of those big things is the fear of spelling and grammar. A lot of people don't feel confident on that level at all, and they feel like, hey, why should I even bother trying to write a book, because I'm not good at this and I don't know if people are going to really read my stuff. So that's a big fear for a lot of people, and it is important to address that because it is a very, very common fear. When it comes to dealing with your fears about self-publishing, writing a book, and actually getting it out there in a way that people will really, read it and acknowledge it, and, you'll be known as an actual author. Grammar and spelling are important, but remember, you can't build this book project all by yourself. Even though you're self-published, you can't do everything by yourself. Successful self-published authors, they do not do everything all by themselves. They build a team. So remember that first of all. And second of all, in terms of making sure that your grammar and spelling in your writings are on point, that's what people like me are for. Our team is comprised of editors who are professionals. We know what we're doing. We've already helped other folks with editing, and we'd love to help you with that too. So as you're building your team, include editors on your team. Professional writers use editors. Okay, so if you're a novice at this, if they're using editors, you definitely need to be using editors too, right? All right, let's move on and let's talk about another very important topic. Here's another great question to think about for your book marketing. When should you start marketing your book? When? A great question. This is an important question. Like I said earlier, it's important to know the right questions to ask. So when you talk to the pros that can help you, that can advise you, you know exactly what questions you should be asking them, and you'll get better feedback, more quality feedback, just because you're asking great questions. So in terms of timing for marketing your book, even experienced authors get help with their book marketing strategy and timing. They hire professionals that understand how this process works. Even if they're self-published, they still get help with the strategy and the timing behind things. So you want to make sure that part of your team includes people that have that type of wisdom and understanding. There is no cookie cutter answer for when you should start marketing your book, but I will tell you that I believe you should start marketing your book even before you write your book. This is something that I've heard other professionals give as advice, but I also see the benefits of this because I am a marketing strategist. I help people with their book marketing strategy plans, and I get why it's important to even get your book marketing planning started before your book is even written. Okay, so, and let me go ahead and give you one more last piece of advice here. All right, my last piece of advice on this topic of marketing your book and the timing of that is that when you have a strategic plan for your book marketing project, you're able to create phases and stages, okay? And that helps keep you on track. So starting from the point of when you're even pre-writing the book through the phase of actually writing the book and getting editing, correcting it, fixing it, and writing more if more is needed, more content is needed, and on and on and on through that process until the end phases where you're selling that book and you're booking speaking engagements and all of that. You need to have a strategic plan that gives you a good sense of your timing through each and every phase of that project. And that's why I say that it's important to have a book marketing strategy even before your book is written, because I already have seen this process. I know how this flows, and I'm telling you, it goes so much better when you have your written plan, not just a plan in your head that nobody can see or feel or touch except for you, but a plan that you can actually share with other people and that you can easily go back to and tweak. Any plan, any blueprint is made to be changed. So you don't want to have something that's rigid, and you'll end up becoming afraid to continue with your book marketing project if you start to become rigid like that. You want to make sure that your book marketing plan is designed in phases and stages so that, number one, you can track it, and you can keep track of what's working and what's not working, fix and tweak, and change those things that need to be changed, and leave the things alone that are working. That's another part that a lot of people don't recognize, is when you get to different milestones of success, you don't want to mess with that. You want to leave success alone. Let it work. Let it do what it do. So you got to have a plan to help you stay on track and stay on course, but also to help you know when to adjust things. It needs to be something that can be changed, that can be flexible. All right, so this is the end of our video for this week. If you have any questions at all about book marketing, if you want to get our advice on your specific project, please go to marketlikeaqueen.com. Take our marketing needs survey. The whole point of this survey, it's an assessment, not just to help us to understand what your needs are, but help you understand your needs better too. So go to marketlikeaqueen.com. The survey is free. Click on that button to order that, and we will get that to you and get started working with you. After you finish the survey, you'll be able to sit down with us and have a session to discuss your marketing needs and get our feedback. All right, it's been awesome doing this Twitter chat today. I really enjoy this topic about book marketing because I love seeing people get their wisdom and their light out into the world. It's a dark place out there, but there's a lot of wisdom and understanding that you have within you, and you can definitely get that out there into the world and help other people to be free in areas that maybe you weren't when you were younger, or when you were newer in business, or whatever topic it is that you're writing on, or just help people have some levity, write some great comedic novels, or help people who love romance and history and things like that. Whatever it is that you're writing, you've got to get your light, your brilliance, your creativity out there into the world. And let's make a plan so that nothing can hold you back. When you have a plan, it's so much easier, number one, to keep yourself encouraged, but also to share that plan with the right people and let them encourage you too. But if it's all just up in your head, it's harder for people to see what your vision is. So get that written down. God bless. Bye-bye.